much for being here. It is good to see you in person.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice to be here. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. And we are happy to be here. This event, of course, is huge. It is really actually quite huge. I always forget how big it is because I haven't been here since '06. And you must enjoy it.
Oh, it's great. And I don't think we realized growing up in Syracuse how lucky we are that the State Fair is in our hometown, because we sort of take it for granted. People come every year. They look forward to it all summer long. You know, we get excited. The concerts that you can hear in the background right now get rolled out over time, and people look for who's coming and which concerts are free. And, you know, lots of people come here and work for the 12 days and have stands. You know, it's a real Syracuse thing, in addition to being something for the whole state.
Does the county have like any financial responsibility at all for this event? So you only make money. This is not like a
right. There is no responsibility that the county has, but you know, we do take our responsibility as the host community seriously, and we do make sure that the State Fair has what it needs. I have a good working relationship with Dan O'Hara, and you know, we make ourselves available to the state government in any way we can. But this is really a state operation, and it gets better and better every year.
Well, you do have some, as a host community, you must have some responsibility in terms of emergency management and that kind of stuff.
Yes, we do. But you'll see that it's staffed almost entirely with state troopers. So they are carrying the bulk of the public safety, but we do have our emergency management operations set up here at the fair. We do have our sheriff's deputies, but it is, by and large, a state operation.
Yeah, we are expecting, obviously, the governor. You will be seeing him, and there's been a lot of talk and focus on you because you are a Republican and you cross party lines to endorse him, and you are also co-hosting with the State Business Council, correct? An event tonight for him.
Yes.
How has the response been any less shocked and appalled from the GOP locally because of your decision to do this? Have they gotten used to it?
I would say to some extent they've gotten used to it, and my reasons haven't changed. I said when I was running for office that I would work with anyone who was trying to move the community forward. Andrew Cuomo fits that bill, and he has had a tremendous 7 or 8 months. People are very happy with the things he's accomplished. The number one thing that you need if you're a county executive in this state is for the state legislature to pass a balanced budget on time. They did that. They did it without raising taxes. He's really started the conversation about the problem that property taxes are in New York State. Now, if we can take that conversation the next step and make sure that people understand that the reason property taxes are so high in New York State is because we are one of the only states where we ask our property taxpayers to pay for Medicaid.
Right.
That's usually paid at the state level, but that's what drives our property taxes here.
So my understanding is under George Pataki, there was a cap in growth. There was not a hard cap in what you guys actually have to pay as counties.
That's right. The rate of growth of Medicaid was extraordinary, and it was difficult for local governments, county governments to keep up. So my predecessor and his colleagues that were county executives at the time were successful in getting a cap on the growth at 3%. But just to put it into perspective, in 2011, our local share of Medicaid was $103 million. So even 3% growth is a lot of money. And now we're asking that the state give us a hard cap and stop the growth there. And then we have a long-range plan where we're hoping that the state can begin to take over the cost of Medicaid like the other states in the United States do.
So this is looking forward, what you plan to ask the legislature as the Association of Counties to do in the coming session.
That's right. We're going to ask for a hard cap. And I am very happy that the volume has been turned up, no pun intended, with your on the issue of property taxes. It is the biggest issue we have. If we're going to grow businesses and spur the economy, our taxes are too high. The conversation is very good, but the solution needs to come next, and we have to keep that pressure on.
So even with the cuts, which was a fairly significant cut in Medicaid spending made by the state, pushed through by the governor in this budget, does not stop your burden?
No, because the rate of growth is so high that when you've kept our growth at 3%, we still have to pay that amount. It might be saving the state money because we split the cost of Medicaid with the state, and then the state splits its share with the federal government.
See, it's not uncomfortable for you at all to back. The governor has been very wildly successful, but the Association of Counties has been in some cases a little bit critical of him, particularly because of the lack of mandate relief in particular.
Right, and I don't want to be critical because this governor's been here for 7 or 8 months now, and he has accomplished so much more than people who preceded him were able to do. So we have to give him time. He has committed that he will work on mandate relief. He has the commission in place. We're going to bring specific proposals to him, but I think it's way premature to be critical of the governor because he's accomplished an awful lot.
You know, something that's also coming down the pike is redistricting.
Yes.
There's been a lot of focus on Onondaga County, specifically on Syracuse. The idea that the 25th congressional district is in some way going to be changed. Are you concerned about that?
Well, I probably have a little bit of a different take than some. We have a terrific representative right now in Anne-Marie Burkle, and I think everybody's preference is that Syracuse remain part of, remain whole. But I see some value in us having more than one voice in Washington. So if we have to bring another member of Congress in to represent some of Syracuse, you know, I can see that there can be a healthy conversation that can take place there too. So,
do you have a different perspective, you think, because Syracuse is more Democrat-dominated sort of center in Onondaga County?
well, one voice. You know, we had a Congress member here, Jim Walsh, for 20 years. He rose through the ranks and he had a lot of seniority and he was able to accomplish a lot. Anne-Marie Burkle is new. It takes time to get that stature. And I see some value in more than one person going to Washington on our behalf. And that's really the downside of us having to divide up Syracuse. It's not as if we're not going to be represented. You know,
in
my
some
preference
way you will,
is right.
Sure.
Right.
But also now we know that Dan Maffei is going to make another run at her. I mean,
Yes.
I think she's been. I'm actually a little bit surprised to hear you. Not surprised, I shouldn't say, but you're sort of a moderate. You're obviously crossing party lines to back a Democrat, and she has been criticized, particularly by Dan Maffei, as being, you know, completely extreme and a Tea Party loyalist. Do you not agree with that assessment?
Well, I don't paint with such broad brushes. I have seen Anne-Marie, and I have been very impressed with the access that regular folks have to her. She has had town hall meetings where people, the vitriol in the room, and she just keeps her cool and endures what people have to say. She really has, and I give her a lot of credit for the day-to-day operation. But, you know, my politics haven't lined up in lockstep with anyone, and that's probably why I think people are having a hard time trying to figure me out.
Right, but you're going to remain in the Republican Party, right? You're not going anywhere?
No, I am a Republican, and, you know, that's one of the answers that I have to the criticism of being a rhino or the other labels is, you know, we have 500 fewer people in county government since I got here. We've reduced our property tax levy $30 million. We're consolidating our local governments with county government. I am really towing the Republican line, but one move off of that line brings a lot of criticism.
Before I let you go, do you have a favorite in the GOP 2012 field?
I don't have a favorite right now. I was watching you talk about George Pataki the other night, and it's interesting to have a moderate as part of the conversation.
Well, John Huntsman is in the conversation and nobody's listening to him. That's the problem, right?
Right.
So we shall see. Until then, the county executive, thank you very much for being with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Enjoy your time at the fair.